Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Knowledge Transfer. In today's topic, I will be covering what is debit memo and how it is useful for AR transactions and all in accounts receivables. So in the last video, I had gone through what is credit memo and why we are using credit memo. First, let me clear it out at very first that debit memo in AR accounts receivables is a negative, it's a negative sign. But debit memo is a positive sign in accounts receivables. So whenever we want to reduce the amount of a particular transaction, we were using the credit memo. Whenever we want to increase the amount of any particular transaction, we will be using the debit memo. So how this functionality works, let's have a look. And in short and simple, whenever you are billing to a customer, but due to some reason, like you had bill a wrong amount, let's say you had bill some small amount, so that can be go back to the transaction and can be recorrected it. But whenever you had applied a receipt to a transaction, partial receipt, you won't be able to modify the transaction. That's the reason debit memo will play a crucial role in accounts receivables. So what we will do is for debit memo process, firstly we will be creating a transaction of let's say 2000, and we'll be applying a partial receipt of let's say 300. Why we are applying partial receipt, I will be explaining that as well. And after that we'll be uh, creating create a debit memo of let's say 400. Okay, and if you want we can apply the receipt or receipt we have seen in the as a part of a credit memo also. So I will be not going that much. If time is there, then I will be creating a receipt, or else I can ignore it. So debit memo. So let me explain you in the system. Let's say I'll be creating a transaction first. Transaction source is my Bell invoice, my Bell customer. This one is knowledge transfer uh, invoice for debit memo 001. Quantity is 1. We had planned to create a transaction of 2000. So 2000. Now let me show you one thing. Complete and review. So here you can see the field has been freeze, right? But whenever I will be clicking on incomplete, I can come back to that particular transactions and override the amount. So let me come back. This is my transaction number. Okay. So manage transaction. My transaction number was 8003. Okay. So we have completed and review, right? So here you can see it's 2000. But let's say if I want to change the amount, I will click on incomplete, and what I can do is I can come back here and put it as 2500. Okay. And system will not stop me. I can again go back, complete and review, save and close. If I will come back again, I can override the amount again by clicking on incomplete. Then what's the point of debit memo over here? So let's say we have increased the amount of 500. So let me keep it here. Okay. So now let's apply partial receipt to a particular this transaction, and we will see. We are coming to accounts receivables, task list, create receipt. My view, my receipt class and method. Let's say 003. Partial receipt means we will be applying 500. Submit and apply manually. Add open receivables. My transaction number was 8003. This is the one. Add. Done. Save and close. So we had partially applied, like partially we have taken the payment, created a receipt. Now let's see system does it allowed again. So you can see the incomplete icon has been faded out and it has been free. So we won't be able to modify any amount or any unit price, whatever is there in the transaction. Until unless receipts has been applied to a particular transaction, we can do the modification. If once the receipt has been applied, we won't be able to do the modification. That's the reason I had taken as a part of partial receipt. So currently what we have, we again came, to the picture of partial receipt also applied of 500. Okay. Again we had came to 2000. Correct. Now what we will do is, let's say we came to know that we need to increase the amount by 400 some more to this transaction number, that is 8003. So we cannot go back and do the modification. So what we'll do, we will take a help of a debit memo. So let's quickly create a debit memo. For creating a debit memo, come to again create transaction. Just change the class as debit memo. Take the business unit, Bell debit memo. This one is a debit memo for transaction number 8003. So how much we want to reduce? We want to reduce 400. So we'll give a, oh sorry, we want to increase 400. Everything is same, just the same like we had created a normal invoices. We are just changing the debit memo over here, transaction source as debit memo, type and but one thing we need to follow is click on show more, go to miscellaneous tab, and here you need to give a transaction number on which transaction number this debit memo is going to be applied. Okay, so my transaction number was 8003. I'll be providing 8003 and clicking on complete and review. Save and close. This is how we had created a debit memo. So once the debit memo has been created, go to the receipt section and you can add the debit memo plus transaction and you can bill to a customer. So that we had already seen as a part of a credit memo. I won't be able to show that. I will not be showing that. If you guys are facing any issues, you can pin in the comment box. I can create a credit memo for same as well. So with this, we had came to the end of the topic called as debit memo. I hope you had liked this video, and in the next topic I am planning to cover the chargeback. So you guys go through this all basic setups, basic videos. And one more thing, as a part of a basic setups, we are creating the uh, transaction type and transaction source as debit memo. So make sure you create it, because during the time of creation in my video, during the time of when I did my all the basic setups for AR, what I did is we had created a transaction type and transaction source for invoice and credit memo, not for debit memo. So make sure whenever you are going to create, let me show you how it look. so that no one will be confused. Give it a bell. This is the debit memo. I had just taken debit memo, and here I had taken the transaction status as open. Creation sign is positive. Why positive? We are increasing the amount of a transaction. We are not decreasing. We are decreasing the amount of a transaction. Then we are using the negative sign or else positive. So this is how transaction type has been created. In the same way, you can create for transaction source and you can follow the process and practice it. So thank you, thanks everyone. I hope you like this video. Please do like, subscribe,